What is going on, YouTube Lamont at large? Today, I am at the Ivy Hill Cemetery here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm here to visit the grave of one of the greatest boxers of all time, and that is, of course, Joe Frazier. Of course, Joe Frazier being probably most famous for his trilogy fights with Muhammad Ali. Joe Frazier was the first man ever to beat Muhammad Ali in the ring, but of course Muhammad Ali beat him the next two fights. He was born January 12, 1944 down in South Carolina. He was one of 12 kids. That is a lot of kids. And his father was a sharecropper on a farm growing corn, and on the side, hey, you got 12 kids, you know, being a sharecropper is not going to pay the bill, so he'd grow a little bit of corn and make moonshine out of it and sell it on the weekends. So when he was 10 or 11 years old, he was a tough kid. Nobody would mess with Billy Boy. That was his nickname, affectionately known down in South Carolina. You would actually have kids that would get bullied in school. They would pay him 25 cents to walk them out of the school just to make sure that the bullies didn't mess with them, because even the bullies were scared of Joe Frazier. So later on, when Joe was about a teenager, 13, 14 or so, a family had, got their first television, and they were watching the fights, Rocky Marciano, Sugar Ray Robinson, so forth and so on. And one of Joe's relatives remarked, because they knew he was a good fighter, and they seen how big he was. He was a big kid, and his family member said, "Hey, you're gonna be a fighter one day. You're gonna be like the next big thing. You're gonna be the next Joe Louis." So the next day, he was kind of, feeling himself. He just said, "Hey, maybe he's got something to it." So he's poor, and he just decides to make his own punching bag. So he gets a potato sack and fills it up with crushed brick, corn cobs, and dirt. And he said an hour a day he would hit this thing, just bam, 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 just constantly hitting it. Here's a funny story. When he was 15 years old, the family had this huge hog. It was like 300 pounds, and I guess he was bored. So he was like pestering the hog. He was like poking it with a stick, and the hog came after him and broke through the cage, and he ran for his life, and he fell, and he tore a gash in his arm. The family was so poor, they couldn't afford to fix his arm properly. So after that time, they mended his arm the best they could, but to that day, after that, he was never able to fully extend his left arm. But it's funny that it was his left arm, because that left arm was his power punch. That left hook, that was a punch that leveled many, many men. Only two people have ever defeated Joe Frazier: George Foreman twice and Muhammad Ali twice. That is it. And if you watch old fights of his, I've watched a couple of his fights when I was younger on YouTube. He was very tenacious. That guy would not stop. I've never seen a fight or heard of a fight with Joe Frazier where he was running from somebody. No, this guy was the aggressor all the time. And here he is, heavyweight champion of the world, SMOKIN Joe Frazier. Would you look at that? That is beautiful. Look at that. Tells a little story about how he came to be. It says he fought 3 fights with a broken thumb, and he still won the gold medal in Tokyo. Yeah, this is awesome. I swear I was here to do a story about somebody else, and I happened to just see this. So I was going to do this video. I just didn't know he was at this cemetery, so I just seen it, so I thought I'd stop by and pay my respects. Look at that. That is awesome. Legend. All right, guys. This is Lamont at Large. Just wanted to show you this really awesome grave. Rest in peace, champ. He died on November 7th, 2011. He died of liver cancer. Rest in peace. I'm Lamont at Large. I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace.